Good evening, explorers, and welcome to the range, where we're going to be breaking down various weapons, tools, and mechanics of the game's sandbox. Today, we're going to be looking at the game's consumable items, of which we have food, meds, and artifacts. We'll start off with the healing items. First up is the healing injection, a generic white auto-injector, kind of like an EpiPen. It was developed by the UNPSC using what I would assume to be regen artifacts. They have some upsides and some drawbacks to the raw artifact, as we'll soon see. It has a weight of 0.2 kilograms, a cost of 350, and heals for a total of 60% of your health over 15 seconds, or 4 health per second. To use, just uncap the syringe with the trigger and press it into any part of the body. After that, no further input is needed. These can be found all throughout the zone, primarily in predetermined spots and in loot crates. The healing injection is going to be your go-to combat heal, as it does not require constant input like the regen artifact. They also stack together as well, so popping two in a bad situation can make you surprisingly hard to kill for the duration of the heal. Moving on to the usable artifacts, we have the regen. A morphing, semi-transparent demi-hypercube, whatever the fuck that means, that is capable of fusing with the subject's soft tissue and entering the blood, where it will heal any wounds. It has a weight of 0.5 kilograms, heals at a rate of 4 health per second, and can last a total of 100 seconds. Meaning a single regen can fill up your health bar 4 times over. That is very substantial. Also, unlike the syringe, it can be turned on and off at will. This makes them very useful for keeping your health topped up, which in a place like Prachorsk is very important. That 20 health you didn't heal because you didn't want to waste a whole injector could cost you your life down the road. Overall, you should be hunting for these at every opportunity. They can and will save your life. Speaking of which, let's go over where they can be found. So, spoiler alert, if you want to hunt these down for yourself blindly, skip to this time here. Okay? Alright. They can be found here at Constellation in Pervomay, Grove in Balatki as well as its minor fields, Ironwood in Pobeda as well as its minor fields, and Hogweed in Kolkaz as well as its minor fields. Bear in mind, these only yield a chance and are not guaranteed. I don't know the exact numbers, but it feels like regens are more common in later areas and in major anomalies. Next up is the Steps artifact. A fucking semi-transparent rhombic hexacantahedron. I'm pretty sure the naming convention for these things was just some guy eating alphabet soup, him shitting it out, looking down and saying, "Yup, that's what that is. My butthole has spoken." Anyway, it has a weight of 1 kilogram and leaves a trail of glowing footprints by the player. The artifact can last up to 1 minute and 40 seconds. The only real use for this is to speed up artifact hunting a bit, although the speed gains are only marginal. I guess it could help if you're under fire while in an anomaly field and you need to make a quick escape. Still, definitely the most underwhelming artifact. If you want to farm these for some reason, they are very common. They can be found in minor anomaly fields all over the zone, except for Pobeda, strangely enough. Most major anomalies will not have them though. Finishing out the artifacts are Night Eyes, a small dark sphere with a bright orange and white outline. It has a weight of 0.8 kilograms and when held gives you a grayscale night vision effect that can last up to 17 minutes. It is to be noted that this effect isn't very effective indoors, being mostly useful when out and about in the wilderness. Unfortunately, these aren't very good in combat because they need to be held for them to work. The effect does linger a few seconds after it's deactivated, but it's really not enough time to do much with. I suppose if you wanted to actually try stealth seriously, these would be essential, but I personally don't bother with it. Another spoiler warning, if you want to go out and look for these blindly, then go ahead and skip to this time. They can be found at the Constellation in Pervomay, Construction in Balatki as well as its minor fields, all Pobeda anomalies except for Gas Leak, and all minor fields in Kolkaz. Before we move on to the food items, we gotta talk about how stamina works. The blue lights on your watch is your usable stamina meter. The yellow bar is your actual hunger or fatigue level. However, your stamina and fatigue are not one-to-one. I'm not very good at explaining this with words, so I'm just gonna do it with numbers. At 0 fatigue, you will have 0 stamina. At 10 fatigue, you will have 10 stamina. At 20 fatigue, you will have 25 stamina. At 30 fatigue, you will have 40 stamina. At 40 fatigue, you will have 55 stamina. At 50 fatigue, you will have 70 stamina. At 60 fatigue, you will have 85 stamina. And at 70 fatigue, you will cap out at the max 100 stamina. With that out of the way, let's get to our gourmet meals generously provided by the UMPSC. Starting off with the candy bar. It has a weight of 0.2 kilograms, a cost of 45, and can be found commonly throughout the zone. They restore 10% of the explorer's fatigue and have one use. By the way, these are some fucking thick boy bars if they weigh 0.2 kilograms each. That's like 2.5 times the weight of your average candy bar. Anyway, I don't know what else to say. It's banned in the EU, I guess. Cool. Moving on, we have the energy drink. Somehow, it's even more generic than the candy bar was. It has a weight of 0.5 kilograms, a cost of 80, and can be commonly found in the zone. It restores 10 fatigue. This item used to be useful when sleep was a mechanic in the game, however, now it's just a worse candy bar. I guess it looks nice on shelves at least. Next up is the canned beef. It's labeled as tushonka, which is a Russian word that essentially just means a canned meat stew. Made originally as an expedition ration, nowadays it's commonly seen in both military and civilian markets. I've heard it's not very pleasant if you just raw dog it out of the can. It's often used as a supplementary ingredient with other things like pasta. In-game, it has a weight of 1 kilogram, a cost of 200, and can be found out in the zone, mostly in cabinets or shelves. It has 10 uses that restore 10 fatigue each for a total of 100, making it the most filling item in the game. Bear in mind, you will need a knife to eat it. Neat trick as well, but you can actually take the individual chunks of meat off the knife and put them in your pocket for tactical snacking. Same with the pineapple. Speaking of which, next up is the canned pineapple. It has a weight of 0.7 kilograms, a cost of 150, and can be found out in the zone. It has 5 uses that restore 15 fatigue each for a maximum of 75%. You will also need a knife to eat it. Also, you eat it very aggressively sounding. I feel like I'm listening to a fucking mukbang ASMR whenever I eat this thing. Moving on, we have the canned meat. On the label, it reads Tourist Delight, which is a reference to Stalker, which has a canned food by the same name. It has a weight of 0.5 kilograms and can only be obtained out in the zone. It has 5 uses that restore 10 fatigue each for a total of 50. It's basically just a diet tushonka. Not much more to say. Next up is the Celebration Cake. This was added to celebrate the 2nd anniversary of the game's release. It has a weight of 0.12 kilograms and is only found in Vano set up on plates. They have 2 uses that restore 15 fatigue each for a total of 30. There is also a candle variant that can be lit with a lighter. I actually really like the light these give off. It's very pleasant and warm. Unfortunately, they don't stay lit if you reload Vano. Hopefully they change that because they can add a nice homey vibe. Also, they are not renewable, so what you have in Vano is all you're gonna get, so I just use them for decoration. Finally, we have the almighty cigarettes. It's based on a pack of Winstons. In-game, it has a weight of 0.01 for the pack and 0.001 for each individual cigarette. A cost of 50 for a pack and can be commonly found out in the zone, both in packs and as individuals. The pack can hold 20 cigarettes, and each one restores 10 fatigue over the course of 1 minute 40 seconds. So, yes, technically a full pack of cigarettes has twice the nutritional value as a tushonka. It just takes a little while longer. They also require a lighter, as you might expect. And that about covers the consumables. While this may be a small aspect of the game, I think it has a large impact on immersion. The canned goods are a good example. They are interactive and require you to go through steps just to do something as simple as eat. It would be nice if you had to unwrap the candy or pop the top on the energy drink. For VR, where the whole selling point is to be able to use your hands and immerse yourself in the environment, I think it's important to be able to use those hands, even if for the simplest and most mundane things, because that's what helps cement the immersive experience. ITR does it fairly well, but it could definitely be improved. Like, imagine if we had, like, MRE bags that we could open up and get several unique food items and then be able to put away for later. Anyway, that's about all I got for this episode. Until next time, explorers.